Shalom Yasharallah, this your brother Dawadah, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, on pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this year's topic, which was inspired by, us going live last night, and I just want to touch a little bit more on this here, these here scriptures, because basically this is the times that we're living in, pretty much at the end of the stream, we started getting into transition of power, So I want to just kind of dive into that a little bit more, just with a couple more precepts, all right? So we're going to start here in the book of Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 10. I'm going to start at verse 1. We're going to read down to verse 4. It says, "A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered." All right? And we also see that, that we don't have a wise judge right now, You have, they're instructing you in how to do wickedness, put this here mask on or whatever, whatnot, or for instance, if we did have a wise judge right now that was over top of us all, according to the scriptures, they would tell you not to be eating pork, right? So for instance, you wouldn't be having these cases of, people having to go to the hospital or whatever, whatnot, and, the medical infrastructure wouldn't be at that much of a strain because of the fact we wouldn't be putting unhealthy or pollutants into our body like that, Verse 2, "As a judge of the people is himself, so are the officers, and what manner of man that the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein." All right, just like today, you have Donald Trump and them that's in office and that cabinet, and these Edomites basically, but they're all corrupt and crooked, But now look at the normal everyday person that you see walking around on the block, man. They all corrupt and crooked too, man. Any chance they get, they're going to get over on your ass, man. That's why you can't trust them. Hey, just look at the world in the layman's terms, man. They got all these scam fucking phone calls that call you up. Hey, your car's extended warranty is about to expire. Or, hey, you want a vacation trip to here or there. Or, click this link to claim your $5,000. Or, hey, we got a virus on your phone. Man, it's all scams. It's all corrupt. It's all crooked, man. Just like the kings of these people are. They tell you one thing just to fleece the flock, man. All right? Verse 4, "An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited." And what is the kings doing on the earth right now, man? Destroying their people, man. All right, getting them prepared for this RFID chip, This is the point here. Verse 4, "The power of the earth is in the hand of Yahweh. In due time he will set over it one that is profitable." All right, and so this is also going into, the scripture also say promotion needs to come from the east to the west. But nevertheless, the Most High is the one that's in control of all the how do I say, the matter of man. All right, he's the one that's in control of all these different things, But nevertheless, people think that they have, so-called free will, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that with our might, our technology, we're going to rule this and we're going to rule that. But ultimately, the Most High have things set up. So let's go into that a little bit, because one of the brothers brought this out. But we're going to go a little bit further into it at 2nd Ezra 6, and I want to say 7. Yep. 2nd Ezra 6, starting at verse 7. "Then he answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of times?" Right? So this is going into what's going to be the transition of power. We got these wicked people ruling over top of us. Right? Could have brought this out with the precept I just read beforehand about how the Most High set up the one that's profitable. Or he's actually the one that's in control of all these things. I'm not going to grab it. Well, we grab it. This is Proverbs 21:1. "The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh as the rivers of water. He will turneth it whithersoever he will." All right. So going into that, the Most High is the one that's controlling the minds of these so-called kings or whatever, whatnot, so that they think that they're jockeying for position to rule here and rule there and rule next. But ultimately, the Most High is the one that rules in the rule amongst the kingdom of men. For lack of a better words. Let me go back to 2nd Ezra. Right, 2nd Ezra 6 says, "Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of times, or what shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?" Right? So I was going to grab in Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, right? So, in fact, since I just quoted that, let's go to Genesis 27 and, what is it, 38 and 39, or 39 and 40? Well, we'll just read verse 39, right? Genesis 27 and 39. "And Isaac his father answered and said unto him," so Isaac is talking to Esau, "Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of the heaven from above," right? So Esau was going to have a chance to rule the earth, but it was a temporary rulership, right? Let me see. Let me jump up to verse Genesis 27 and 28. Therefore the Most High give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Now this was talking to Jacob. They were both going to have a time to rule over the whole earth, right? But Esau was going to rule first, all right? Then Jacob was going to rule after that. But Esau's rulership was a temporary rulership, right? So now let's go back to 2 Ezra 6 and 7. It says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting of us under the times, or what shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth, right? So when you look at this in a larger scheme of things, right, going back to the book of Daniel, right? Let me see if I can grab that real fast. Give me 1 second. So going into Nebuchadnezzar's dream and things like that, it says, let me just get to the point. Daniel 2 and 32. We'll just get to the point. The image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, and his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, and his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that the stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them into pieces, right? Verse 35, Then was the iron and the clay and brass, silver and gold broken into pieces together, then it became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Now, they actually give you the breakdown of what all this here means further down in the scriptures, but nevertheless, what it's going into is the fact that these are all different kingdoms, all right? Let me just read verse 39. And after these shall arise another kingdom inferior unto thee, and a third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over the whole earth. Just touching on the fact that these are talking about different nations. So you're seeing transitions of powers that's going on between these different nations and things like that. But in reality, this whole statue is a rulership of wickedness. All right, this is when the wicked was ruling the whole earth, right? But then you seen that stone that was cut without hands came and smote the image, and it grew into a large mountain. That's the kingdom of heaven coming and taking the rulership, taking the wicked out of rulership. All right, so now let's go back. 2 Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, What shall be the part of the asunder of times, or what shall be the end of the first? All right, that whole statue, you know, you went through the head, the breast, the thighs, and the feet, right? But then you had that stone that came down. So you had, the statue represents the beginning half, and the stone represents the second half, right? What shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. And we just read in Genesis how they was both blessed with the blessing of rulership over the earth, right? Verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world, all right, meaning the end of that statue, right? That big statue, how I just said, look, that statue represents all these kingdoms ruling in wickedness. That stone represents the kingdom of heaven coming, right? So you're going to have the wicked rulership and the righteous rulership, because we know the kingdom of heaven is an everlasting kingdom, right? So it says, for Esau is the end of the world, that wicked rulership, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, all right? So when you go back to that statue, the Babylonians ruled first, the Medo-Persians, the Grecians, the Romans, all the way down, and the Romans, basically they were Edomites, but then that's the end-all be-all with the Edomites, and then guess what? Jacob's going to rule after that. This is a transition of power, all right? Let me go from there to, let me read through this really quick. I brought this out last night, but Psalms 2 and 1, it says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing, right? Because the part of it that's being vain is the fact that the prophecy is already set forth. The statue is telling you how these, let's just say we was living in the Babylonian kingdom, right? When Daniel broke down the division of Nebuchadnezzar, right? Now, at that point in time, America was already prophesied to be at the end all be all. Esau was going to be the last kingdom to rule. So it was already set forth. All right. There's no change in all these things. All right. So for you to sit here and imagine a vain thing like, oh, well, to say that the Edomites is going to rule after the Babylonians. Like, well, no, the Medo-Persians is going to rule after that according to the scriptures. And that's what wound up happening. So that's a vain thing for the Edomites at that point in time to try to take over, man. All right. Or for Israel to try to take over, right after the Babylonians or anything like that, you know. Verse 2, the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. You know, because why? This is the grips the Most High have on the whole earth, man. All right. Like we read in Proverbs 21, the king's heart is in the hand of the Most High, man. But they trying to break free from that. They want to have so-called free will and dominate on their own. Verse 4, he that sitteth in heaven shall laugh, and the Lord shall have them in derision. Because they're going to ultimately try to fight against the Lord in the midst of World War III. All right, then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them with his sword of displeasure. Right? Then, verse 6, yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. Right? And these hills and mountains represents government. All right, but the Most High said, he set his king up. All right, I will declare the decree. Yahweh have said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession. So who's going to rule the earth after Esau? All right, we read that Jacob is, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So who's going to be the head king over the Israelites? All right, Yahushua. Verse 9, thou shalt break them with the rod of iron and shall dash them in pieces like the potter's vessel. Going into the fact of the matter of when they try to come to war with them, they're going to be broken in half, man. All right, just like that the statue and the rock that smote them. Verse 10, be wise now, therefore, ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth, serve Yahweh with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are they that put their trust in him. All right, because this is who's going to ultimately come and rule, man. All right, this is how everything is going to wind up taking place, all right? Matter of fact, let me grab this other one in Psalms because it goes with that as well, too. Psalms 46. Let me just read Psalms 46:6. The heathens raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. All right, because wow, the prophecies of the Most High is gonna stand, man. They raging and trying to jock for position of who's gonna take over after Babylon. And you see them setting up with the petrodollar, or not the petrodollar, the BRICS nations and petro yuan and so on and so forth. The military might of Russia, but ultimately the Most High is gonna set up Yahushua to rule over these other nations. You know. We're gonna close out with this in Isaiah 60. This is going into the transition of power, right? It says, lift up your eyes round about and see. Salakia. It says, lift up thy eyes round about and see. They gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons shall come from afar. Thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thy heart shall fear and be enlarged because of the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee, and the forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. So, hey, this is that transition of power, man. All right, when you take over, when a king comes in and besieges another kingdom, and they take over, they spoil them and take all their goods, man. All right. So this is the same thing that's about to happen, man. Everything that these Edomites have, they're gonna wind up. This is Job chapter 20, verse 20 or 18 maybe. Yep, Job 20 and 18. That which he labored for shall he restore and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be and shall not rejoice. All right. So going into, the abundance of the Gentiles being converted unto us. All right. All the things that Esau wound up swallowing down. All right. He's going to wind up throwing back up. He's going to wind up giving back up. And what? The transition of power. Who is he going to transition all these things to? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites. All right. Verse 6, the multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dormities of Midian and Ephah, and all they of Sheba shall come, and they shall bring gold and incense. They shall show forth the praise of Yahweh. So if they're bringing you gold, why are they bringing you gold? You see? Because it's a transition of power, because now you're the head and they're the tail now. All right? Let me jump down. Verse 9, surely the isle shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first to bring thy sons from afar, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahweh thy power, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he have glorified thee. So the Lord is about to glorify us and transition his kingdom into our hand. We ain't gonna have to do nothing but sit back and open up the doors like, yo, dog, hey, come on, bring it in. You can sit your gold right on down here. Not only the gold, but your sons, your daughters, all y'all coming into captivity, man. All right. Verse 10, the sons of strangers, like I just said, you can bring your sons and your daughters, man. All right. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. Why would they be building up our walls? Right now, they slaves building up their walls right now, building up their cities. But guess what? It's about to be a transition of power, man. All right. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their king shall minister unto thee. For my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I have mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and their kings might be brought. That's the transition of power, man. We the ones laboring for these Edomites right now, man, but they're about to start laboring for us. Verse 12, the nation and the kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall utterly be wasted. All right? So that's because, wow, we're in a transition of power. Right now, Esau ain't serving us. We serving him. We got to get up every morning to go to work for his ass, pay taxes unto him. All right? But that's what it's about. We going in transition power. This is why they falling out of power right now, man. This is why you seeing America crumble right now, man. All these Edomites are crumbling right now, man. All right? Let me jump down to verse 14. The sons also of them that afflict thee shall come bending unto thee, and they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at thy soles at thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Let me just read down to 17. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency and joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shall suck the breast of the kings, and thou shalt know that I Yahweh am thy Savior, the Redeemer, the Holy One of Jacob. Right? We're gonna be eating the best of the best, man. Verse 17. For brass, now the Most High saying, look, you're gonna ask me for $1, I'm about to give you $1 trillion, right? This is the comparison. For brass, I will bring gold, and for iron, I will bring silver, and for wood, brass, and for stones, iron, and I will make thy officers peace, and thy exactors righteous. All right, so, hey, going into this is going to be the transition of power. Let me read verse 18. Because right now we in the slums, the ghettos, the barrios, we at the bottom of the barrel, right? It says, violence shall be no more heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. Thou shalt call thy wall salvation, and thy gates praise. Why? Because we at the bottom right now. We only got enough money to get the cheapest motel that there is, right? While these elites is living up in these penthouse suites and the penthouse hotels, the presidential suites and the presidential hotels, they up in them shits like that, man. But we at the little $30 room hotel, that type of shit, man. But it's all about the transition, because right now we at the bottom, but we about to go to the top, man. All right, we ain't gonna be having we ain't gonna be living in the ghettos no more and having, the shitty end of the stick for the land and the resources and things like that, man. That's gonna be Esau, man. All right. But I just wanted to touch back on this, and touch on to some of these things that the scriptures talk about during the transition to power, man. And this is right around the corner, man. This is what you see Esau falling out of his position right now, man. Yeah, he was up on his square and doing his thing, but now he's all stumbling and drunk and falling all over. It's only going to be a little bit more time before this motherfucker gets super drunk, pass out in his own vomit, you know what I'm saying, while he got stacks of money falling out of his pocket and shit. All you got to do is go over there and pick it all up, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Lord willing, with that, the elect was edified with this here lesson, man. We about to transition this kingdom, man. All right? So with that, I want to say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Radash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone that taught us this truth and that we will. And citation and much love for you. I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.